Okay, the Pistons re-sign Rodney McGruder,
True.
and we're going to talk about it because I want to know from Craig his thoughts on this and if it's worth bringing him back. Doesn't
And
matter.
because
We'll
there's
see.
nothing else to talk
That's
about
right.
in the beginning of August in the NBA.
In the NBA. So, a couple deals. So, really, we want to talk about that. And then Knox has officially been done. That
Yep.
was a 2 year, $6 million deal. We'll get to more of that in just a second. But with McGruder, it's a 1 year deal. Craig puts us over 15 players with
Yeah.
contract. So, initial thoughts on bringing him back? Is this something that you liked or maybe not?
Yeah. So when you look at this team, one thing that I think it's missing, you have Olynyk and you have Noel in the front court, right, as your veteran presence.
Uh huh.
And then now you have Corey Joseph and Rodney McGruder as your veteran presence in the backcourt. And I think you need to have some of this, and you need to have someone more than just Corey Joseph to run this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this goes deeper than that, though. I think the re-signing of Rodney McGruder is just another indicator that we realize, like, we need some floor spacing. I mean, this is a guy that shot 40% from three last year, almost 40% from three, was the consummate team player. There'd be
Mm-hmm.
stretches where he wouldn't play for 10 games in a row, and then he would just come off the bench and get hot, and just light it up. And he's a guy who's going to go out there. He's going to play hard. And I think he might be that good idea. So let me ask you this, Chris. What do you view, whether they're good players or not? Like, this is definitely this is a journeyman. This is a role player. He always has been, but he played well for us last year. Probably. I mean, like, when called upon, played much better than I ever expected.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is the importance of having a veteran presence, kind of at each position on an NBA team?
Yeah, good. That's a good question because I think we forget how young we are, and sometimes it's like just roll with those guys, you know.
Just roll and just
Duran,
lose.
yes, just put Duran in, and you're like, hold on a second. I do think, yeah, that college to NBA jump is bigger than any. This is a hot take. Bigger
Oh,
than
hot take.
any jump in professional sports.
Oh,
Maybe baseball, but
oh,
I don't know. Whew. Let's
whoa.
think on this. Yeah, so you can go from
Whoa.
the NFL,
I've
you can
thought
go
on it.
from college to NFL, and you see that rookies playing. You see it's a lot of guys, but in the NBA, man, it really gets down to lottery picks, and you get your one offs here and there in the 20s, and then a second round
Yeah.
guy, showing that it's just hard to get into the league. It's hard to get onto the floor. It's
Mhm.
just hard, and you're playing against the best in the world. And so I think to have a veteran guy, been through it, seen it, been on the court, and we just need that because it would be nice to have a guy that comes in, settles things down. Maybe we're not playing well. We're on a 3 game losing streak. He gets a few more minutes. I mean, just little things that can kind of keep your franchise moving forward
Yeah.
versus like you just got these young guys who's really telling them. I mean, obviously they're getting coached and they're talking to people, but any veteran guy, I mean, he's 31, I think. So,
Yeah.
he's 12, 13 years older than Duran. I mean,
Yeah.
just little things like that on the team. So I think it's important. Do you think it's important or I'm making too much of it?
Oh, I'm gonna talk about a couple things right
Oh,
now.
hit me.
First, I'm gonna respond to what you said about it's the hardest jump, college to NBA, and I'm gonna raise you baseball and
The
say, come on now.
I said
But
I threw
because
in
usually
that at
that's
the
two
end.
or 3 years, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
that's okay. That's okay because there's a lot of things we can talk about with this. I think the NBA, the jump to the NBA, I think the speed of the game is completely different. And so when you have Ivy out there and he's having a rough night and he
Mm-hmm.
just can't get it right, for Casey to be able to look down the bench to say, Magruder, get in there, right? And Magruder goes and he starts winning a matchup by playing slower, by
Right.
letting the game come to him. And you have a guy like Ivy that's sitting on the bench that gets to watch like how he's responding and taking advantage of the weaknesses of the defense, playing to his strengths, all these different things. And even when they take his strength away, just passing the ball and moving it and like being able to watch that, dude, I think that is valuable. And
Yep.
it helps you
And
win a few more games. It does, which not everybody will love, but it does help you win a few more games. Any given Sunday, the movie, this played out, right?
any given
Um,
Sunday.
any
Whoa.
given Sunday, wow, inappropriate. Don't watch it with your children. But like, He's in there. I forget, what is it? Willie something. What is his name in that? But Jamie Foxx is the
Yep.
quarterback, and he's out, and old man, I think it's Dennis Quaid plays the other quarterback, comes in and just is like orchestrating a drive, and he learns a ton from him in that drive, just
Uh-huh.
watching him like work his magic. Now, of course, Rodney McGruder is not like a great quarterback that's beyond his prime. He's just a journeyman player.
Sure.
But sometimes it's nice to have those guys that you can look up to on the roster.
Yeah, because I think what I'll say about my earlier statement was I think it's hard that jump to be like good. Like I think so what I'm going with that is yeah, you can play a little bit. Maybe it's not as hard to get in. There's certain guys, but I guess my point is to
Oh,
really
to just be really good right
yeah, just
away.
to be good right away is going to be
Absolutely.
difficult. And you that's how you learn and you have somebody, again, you're going to get those nights where somebody's just like, dude, like okay, Damian Lillard's tearing me up here.
Yeah.
Or whoever, I don't know who, and you're just like, that's all right, man. Like I played against this player, this player. He's telling stories. He's telling about how he cried in his locker room after,
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I know that. I get to hear that. I get to see him play. I see how, and you make a great point. I see how he plays against people. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's huge. One more for you, Craig, is we did officially sign Knox, and I just
Yep.
wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on him now that we've had time to kind of digest this? And I think initially it was like, cool, we signed somebody, and so you had this natural excitement. Where are you at with him now that it's official and kind of bringing it up again?
Yeah. I like it. I just don't see a lot of room for minutes outside of people getting hurt, which is
Mhm.
very, very easily could happen. If Knox plays to his ability, if he becomes that knockdown shooter he was supposed to be, he could be really good. And I don't
Yeah.
mean really good like, oh my goodness, he's going to be one of the best players on this team. Here's what I say with Kevin Knox. Everybody loved the Josh Jackson signing when the Pistons got him. Like people were excited, former number 4, I think, 3 or 4 pick overall, and just like everybody's like, "Oh, here's a guy drafted in the lottery, high upside, just hasn't shown it. Just hasn't shown it, hasn't put it all together yet." But why aren't we excited about Kevin Knox? Like it's the
Yep.
same thing. I think he was drafted number 9 overall or something like that by the Knicks. He hasn't showed out. Like he's at least stayed on NBA rosters. Jackson was in the G League. He was up, he was down. Like, and I understand he had a decent half a season with Memphis before he came to us. But like I still sometimes I wonder like if that shot just starts to go on, or if he can get with a team where he realizes like my job is to play defense and to shoot threes.
Yep.
And that's all he has to worry about. Maybe that's good. And by the way, who's a really good guy to look up to when you're seeing how to do that? Rodney McGruder.
All
So
right, dude. Yes,
like,
man. It
let's get it.
that's where you
It's
talk about
important.
yeah, that's where you talk about minutes and
Yeah.
just
I
the
don't know. I
opportunity
don't
to
know
get
what
them.
minutes are going to look like for him. I will say this too about Magruder. It's not just in game. It's like seeing how a consummate professional goes about his business day in, day out at the practice, rehab, keeping his body right, diet. Like, I mean, there's so many things. If you can bring those good guys back into the fold, you want young guys seeing that as much as possible.
Absolutely. Yep.
Kevin Knox
Cool.
could benefit from it too.
Kevin Knox. Man, you're right though. People are split on him just in the comments and stuff. It's like
Yeah, most
he
people are like, oh, it's a
sucks.
throwaway. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
we
it's
give
like,
him 3 million. So what?
yeah. That's like, oh, once he gets his shot right, or if he can get his shot, or it's a fresh start. So we'll see. We'll be watching that. So that's some Pistons talk for you.
Little
Love it.
Pistons
Love
action.
it, man.
Yeah.
We will see all of you soon. Make sure you subscribe. More Piston
Do
stuff
it.
coming. It's going to heat up. Don't worry about it. But check us out for the Lions and Pistons, and we will see all of you on